someone wanted to Dionne Ward to show up. Instead, Sissy Houston shows up. They wanted Dionne Ward, and Sissy Houston shows up, and they say, no, I want Dionne Ward. Where's Dionne Ward? You know, like that, right? And Sissy Houston must have said, hey, I came into her place, or you know, this, that, and the other, and all this sort of stuff. And they did not want her until Sissy Houston opened up her mouth and started singing. They changed their fucking mind. Like that. It's been like that, you know. And she was just a good enough singer than Whitney Houston. I've seen a video of Sissy Houston and Whitney singing together early on. When this is a video of when Whitney Houston was early in her career, very early in her career, and Sissy Houston is singing right along with her. I was like, hey, listen to that voice. It was Sissy Houston. You know, she reminded me of the voice of Sarah. She had that Richie sound, and she was rolling those notes just like Sarah. I was like, man, listen to Sissy. You know, like that. Another person, Luther Vandross. Luther Vandross went to Apollo Theater and sang or whatever, and sing. Now, Apollo Theater is tough to get by. That theater, man, you gotta really come with the goods, man, if you want to get past that crowd at the Apollo Theater. And he went and sung there. And he did not win. He sang there, but he did not win. Like, and you know, like that. And look how he blew up like a balloon. You know, and shit like that. And sometimes it does happen that way. It happens because I think that the audience sometimes can misread, man. Or whoever's judging can misread. Like, they can misread, man. And let that person walk away. When you look at Barbra Streisand, Ella, Luther, you know, they can misread, man. Sissy Houston, they can misread. Whoever's judging can misread, man. And you can't judge a book by its cover, man. You know, because it's the first thing that they saw Ella, they saw how she looked, but as soon as she opened her mouth, hey, wait a minute, I do want you, you know, and shit like that. They didn't want her just by looking at her. But as soon as she opened up her mouth, wait a minute, I think I do want you, you know, and shit like that, you know. I mean, like, come on, man. I mean, like, because they misread, man. They doesn't, you know, they look at you and say, hey, I don't think that person sounds good, you know, like that. But when she opened up her mouth and started singing, they say, hey, wait a minute, I do want you, you know, like that. You know, I mean, it happened time and time again, man, you know. But again, I think when it's auditions and stuff like that, I like to hear people without the music, man. You know, because that way you could tell who can sing or not, man. You get them and stuff, but I think it depends on who's judging the singing. You know, who's judging the singing. You know, I think that's why there's auditions, man, because they want to see. They want to see. It's not about, wait a minute, you doesn't look like it. You know, they doesn't go with that anymore. They used to. They used to go with, wait a minute, you doesn't look like no singer. You doesn't look like a pop star. You know, they dissed that idea. They dissed that. And that's why there's auditions now. That's why there's auditions there. They doesn't judge the book by the cover anymore. Like, you know, they doesn't really do that. They really doesn't go with that anymore. You know, they don't really go with that anymore. You know, like that. I mean, they would, if they felt like, as long as you got that talent, they can say, well, let's work you over. We'll do. They doesn't dish the idea that you doesn't look like no pop star, you know, like that. What they'll do is that if you got the talent, they'll try to fix you up. They doesn't reject you anymore. They doesn't, like, you doesn't look like a pop star, even though you might have the voice. They say, hey, well, we'll make you over, you know, like that, and then that your look will match your talent. They doesn't go with, you doesn't look like a pop star. You know, they don't go with that idea anymore. You know, and stuff like that. They doesn't go with that anymore. They say, okay, the talent, we'll make you over. We'll help you out. If you can't act, well, we'll work with you. You know, like that. They'll work with you. You know, if you got the talent, it depends on what they want you for. If it's a singer, and you want to be in a movie, well, we'll help you. We'll help you along. We'll help you along. Well, we know you can sing, but we'll help you along. When it comes to the acting, we'll help you with that. You know, it's like they can help you with, if you have a talent that they want to use, and if you doesn't know other things, they will help you out with that. Those other things, they will help you out with those. You know, it's not them rejecting you because you doesn't have this or you doesn't have that. Long as you have what they really, really want, they'll help you along with the other stuff. And that's how they doing it now. They doesn't, you know, because if they feel that they can make some money off you, it doesn't reject you anymore. Not that easy anymore. You know, like that. They know what they doing. They know what they doing. You know, like that, you know, and stuff like that. But I'm kind of glad that they know that a lot of people didn't come with a silver spoon in their mouth. They doesn't come from, they doesn't have wealth. They doesn't have all these, and they doesn't look like Miss America or Mr. America and shit like that. You know, those stereotypes and all that crazy crappy stuff that they, you know, that used to keep people from, you know, wanting to work with you. You know, like that. They abandoned those things. They abandoned that shit. You know, if they feel they could still make some money off you or whatever, they will work with it, with the other stuff. If they see a talent that you got, they can say, hey, wait a minute, we'll work. You got that talent. We'll work with the other stuff. If you need help with any other stuff, we'll help you with that. You know, and stuff like that. They doesn't just abandon people anymore. Not when they feel like they can make some money off you. They doesn't do that anymore. They doesn't do that. They doesn't do that anymore. You know. But the music, I think the music is something that everybody probably listen to. I think a music can be soothing. It depends on what type of music you listen to. I think rap music came into play in the late 70s, early 80s. I think that that first started out with party anthems, a lot of party songs, and then it became they started looking at social issues and stuff like that. I'm singing about social stuff that a lot of neighborhoods were going through in the late 70s, early 80s and 90s, and then they start doing the gangster rap stuff, still doing some party songs and stuff like that. But I'm not. I think it's all. I think it all. You know, I think the generations. When you look at a lot of generations, the music changes. Like the R&B of the '60s is not like the R&B of the '80s or the early 2000s. The R&B style of it changes. Like it's still R&B, but the style of it changes. And I think because of the generations of it changes. The generations changes, and they doesn't want to listen to the '80s R&B. They want to listen to the 2000s R&B. You know, stuff like that. And you know, or the pop music. They probably doesn't want to listen to the pop music of the '80s. They want to listen to pop music of the 2000s. You know, like that. And same thing with R&B, pop, country. You know, I think the generations, because of the generations, um, uh, have their own, want their own style of whatever it is, pop, R&B, country, you know, stuff. They want their own style, like of different types of R&B, different types of pop, different types of country, you know, different types of gospel. They want their own style of art, even though it still remains, it's still R&B, but R&B of the '80s is not R&B's of the 2000s. You know, like that. It's different, and I think it's because of the generations changes. The generations of people changes. Oh, I mean, it changes of what they like, what they like. Like the R&B, the music of the '80s, the 2000s may not want. They want to change it up a bit in the 2000s. The R&B in the 2000s, they want to change it up a little bit, and so and that's the way it is because the generations. If you notice, the generation changes what they like and want in music and clothes and this and that and all this sort of stuff. It changes. It changes. The style of the music changes. Even though it's still R&B, even though it's still pop, even though it's still country, even though it's still the style of it changes throughout the generations. You know, and that's the way it is, man. That's exactly the way it is, and I think it's because the generations, the newer generations want newer style of whatever it may be, R&B, jazz, R&B, pop, country. They want new style of and gospel, new styles of They doesn't want to stick to the old styles of country pop, R&B. They want to create their own style of like that. And I think that we should understand that because again, these are newer generations of people, and they want their own style of art. They doesn't want to stick to the old styles of you know they doesn't want to stick to the old styles. I mean, it still be R&B, but they want to create a new style of R&B. They want to create a new style of country. They want to create a new style of pop. They don't want to stick to the old styles. Especially the newer generations. These are new generations. They doesn't want to stick to the old styles anymore. That's why the music sounds different. That's why the music is different than the R&B you grew up. The R&B today is different from the R&B you grew up with. It's different because they want their own styles. But I think all of it together is like it's I think it's based on the generation thing. Whatever generations that come down the pike, it sort of like changes, and stuff like that. And you know, and stuff like that. But again, it's but you kind of accept it all though. Except, I mean, you might not like it all, but you just accept that that's the way it is. Like that. And whatever music you may like or whatever you may, go with. But that's the way it is. And the record companies, will they'll go along with their style though, because they'll see that the newer generations want this type of music. They doesn't want to, the record companies will go along. They'll change with the generation. They'll change with the generations and stuff like that because the R&B of the 60s is not going to work in the 2000s. The R&B in the 2000s, it's not going to work. So the record companies will change if they still want to make some money or whatever. The record companies, they'll work with the newer generations, because they'll see what's new out there, what the fans want, and so they'll work with them. To with the changes, like they'll work with the changes. The record company, if they still can make the money or whatever, they'll work with the changes, because the generations is not going to stay the same when it comes to the style of music. It's not going to, sometimes they even add more types of music, and stuff like that. It's not going to just stay the same all the time, man. It's not. But you can just welcome it all. I mean, you might not like it all. You can welcome it all and stuff. You might not like it all. I mean, but I think it's just different. But you can always reach back in the past. You can always, look, it depends on what type of music you like, like that. Singing, music, whatever. It depends on what type of music you like and what time, and stuff like that. But I think the record companies are different now. I mean, when it comes to booking singers and this, that, and the other, I think they change with the times. They are willing to give you a chance. If they thought they could make some money off you, they will. Um, um, the record companies, the talent shows on TV is different, but the record companies, I think if they thought they could make some money off you, it doesn't matter who you is. If they think they can make some money off, they will. They will. They'll work with you. If they need to create an image or whatever, they'll do that too. Uh, you know, but in order to make some money off of you and stuff like that, um, I think there's always money to be made in the record industry. As far as singers and stuff like that, I think there's always money to be made with that because again, the generation of music is there from the past to present and probably in the future. you know there's always going to be all types and this, that, and the other, and always money to be made with that because it's always going to be someone new coming into the industry. And there's always, and those record companies knows that is always money to be made with that. It's different from TV. They got to constantly, you know. But I think it's not really much different than TV, but TV is constantly, changing to see what works and this, that, and the other. But I think the record companies is the same way, in a sense, because they're trying to see if you can sell. And I think TV and the record companies are looking for what sells. And when it comes to TV, the ratings. When it comes to sales, you're talking about the CD, like that, or movies, DVDs, and stuff like that, or people go to the theaters or whatever. They always looking to see what sells, and who it's going to sell at, like that. They always looking for that. They always looking for that, and they always looking for that. Always, if sales is if you're not going to sell, you might as well forget it. I don't care where you come from. TV, as far as the ratings, movie tickets, DVDs, and concert hall tickets, like that. You can forget it. If you're not going to sell, you can forget it. CDs, DVDs, movie tickets, TV ratings. If people stop watching, they will cancel. And stuff like that. If TV is not gonna make the ratings, it's done. It's done with that TV show. If it's not gonna make the CD sales, they'll drop you like a hot potato from the record company. If movies tickets, if not, they will put that on the shelf. The movie tickets, or DVD sales. If that's not selling, shelve it. They'll shelf it like that. Put it on the shelf. Don't sell it. And stuff like that. That's that's the thing, man. But I'm kind of glad that I got to see all types of music, all types of entertainment. Even the sports and all of that. It kind of welcomes everything. I mean, like when you talk about entertainment, sports, music, TV, and stuff like that. It kind of, if you're involved in it or wants to be in it or whatever, it's all based on sales, man. All based on sales. And if you're not going to sell, they'll get rid of you. It doesn't matter who you is. I don't care how long you've been in the business. How long? It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter how long you've been in the business. If you doesn't sell, they'll get rid of you. It doesn't matter how long you've been in the business. And that's the reality of it, because they trying to make money. They trying to make money. And if you're not going to make them any money, well, see you later, bye. And thank you for making us the money that you did make us. But we can replace you. You know, like that. And that's the real deal of it. They replace people. They'll drop you like a hot potato, act like you didn't even exist. You know, like that. Because they is about making money.